we have discussed the discovery of electron, proton, and neutron together with their properties. But in this class, we will be discussing how the electron, protons, and neutrons are arranged to give the structure of the atom. It means when the electrons, protons, and neutrons are discovered, then the problem before the scientist is that how they are arranged to give the structure of the atom, to give the most electrostatic arrangement, to give the most stable electrostatic arrangement. In order to define the model of an atom, how the electrons are arranged, how the protons are arranged, Thomson was the first scientist to make such attempt for explaining the atomic model. Let us discuss the Thomson atomic model. Thomson atomic model. In this model, Thomson explained that the atom is in spherical shape to the size of approximately 10 to the power minus 10 meter, in which the positively charged was uniformly distributed and the electrons are embedded into it to give the most stable electrostatic arrangement. However, this atomic model was not consistent with the latter observation, but this atomic model gives the most stable. This atomic model gives the stability. It shows the stability. It means electrical neutrality of the atom. For this, J.J. Thomson was awarded with the Nobel Prize. Let us discuss it. Thomson atomic model. Thomson atomic model. First one, in 1898, J.J. Thomson proposed the atomic model in which is assumed that the atom is spherical in shape. Atom is spherical in shape and approximately 10 to the power minus 10 meter in size. Thomson says that the atom is spherical in structure and the size of the atom is about 10 to the power minus 10 meter. In this model, he proposed that the positive charge is uniformly distributed throughout the atom and the electrons are embedded into it to give the most stable electrostatic arrangement. In this model, it was also assumed that the mass was uniformly distributed. To the next, but this atomic model was not consistent with the latter experiment. That's why it was discarded. One more thing is that the time when Thomson atomic model was put forwarded, at that time neutrons were not discovered. Therefore, the Thomson does not include the presence of neutrons in his atomic model. The next thing is that in his atomic model, the positive charge was uniformly distributed the positive charge was uniformly distributed throughout the atom, and electrons are embedded into it to give most stable electrostatic arrangement. The next, third one. The mass was assumed to be uniformly distributed throughout the atom. The mass was assumed to be uniformly distributed throughout the atom. The next, when this atomic model was put forwarded, the neutrons were not discovered. Therefore, Thomson did not include the presence of neutron in the atom. During this time, when this atomic model was forwarded, during that time, neutrons were not discovered. Therefore, they are not included in this atomic model. Though this model is important to us, we are going to study it because it explains the electrical neutrality of the atom. It explains the stability of the atom. This model, this atomic model, is important to us because it explains the electrical neutrality of atom. How? Because the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. If the negatively charged particle in the atom is equal to the positively charged particle in the atom, that's why it is neutral. It explains the electrical neutrality of the atom and hence explain the stability of atom. The next, however, it is not consistent with the latter experiment. It means it does not shows the electronic transitions, the spectrum. It means the emission spectrum, the absorption spectrum. It means this atomic model was not consistent with the latter experiment, therefore it was discarded. This atomic model was not consistent with the latter experiment. Hence discarded. The next one, this atomic model was also known as Plum's pudding model, resin pudding model, or watermelon model. This atomic model is also known as Plum pudding model, resin pudding model, or watermelon model. It means what we are discussing, that after the discovery of electrons, protons, the question before the scientist is that how this electron, proton are arranged to give the atom. It means what are their arrangement, how they are arranged to give the structure of the atom. In context of that, the first attempt was made by J.J. Thomson in 1898. What he says? He says the atom is approximately to the size of 10 to the power minus 10 meter and is spherical in shape, in which the protons are uniformly distributed together with the mass. It means the mass is distributed throughout the atom. The proton, the positively charged, is distributed throughout the atoms, in which the negatively charged are embedded, and they are embedded in such a way to give the most stable electrostatic arrangement. I have also explained when this atomic model was put forward, at that time neutrons were not discovered, therefore the Thomson does not include the presence of neutron in his atomic model. The next, this atomic model was important to us because it explains the electrical neutrality. How it is going to explain the electrical neutrality? The number of electron is equals to the number of proton. If the number of negatively charged and the number of positively charged is equal, and when the distribution is uniform, then in that case the atomic model is stable together with neutron. The next, but this atomic model does not explains the various phenomena, various experiments. That's why this atomic model was discarded. This atomic model was also known as Plum's pudding model, resin pudding model, or watermelon model. Watermelon model, it means this Thomson atomic model is similar to that of watermelon. How it is going to explain that the positively charged is synonymous to the rest mass, reddish portion of the watermelon. The reddish portion of the watermelon is synonymous to the positive charge, which is uniformly distributed throughout the watermelon, whereas the electrons are synonymous to the seeds of the watermelon to give the most stable electrostatic arrangement. For this Thomson atomic model, in 1906, J.J. Thomson was awarded with the Nobel Prize. Now we will be discussing the Rutherford's atomic model. In order to forward his atomic model, Rutherford performed an experiment. That experiment was known as alpha particle scattering experiment on the gold foil. We will discuss what is alpha particle, why he take gold foil, what is the thickness of the gold foil, what were his observation, what were his calculations, and what were his conclusion, and how he forwarded his atomic model. But before that, we will know what is the experiment that was performed by the Rutherford and his student. That, let us see. Rutherford's atomic model. The first one, Rutherford and his students, that is Hans Geiger, and Ernest Marsden, performed alpha particle scattering experiment. Let us discuss what is alpha particle scattering experiment. But before that, what we know, what is alpha particle? Alpha particle, it is helium nucleus. It means if this one is the helium nucleus, that it contains 2 protons, 2 neutrons, and it contains 2 electrons, 1 and 1, 2. What we are discussing, that alpha particle is helium nucleus. It means only this portion. It means when we remove these 2 electrons from helium, then what we have? We have He2 plus, and He2 plus is known as helium nucleus. Why Rutherford take the alpha particle together with the gold foil? Because what we see here, that the alpha particle is positively charged, and we know the property of the charges according to Thomson atomic model, and on the basis of discovery of electrons, protons, what we know that the electron is negatively charged, the proton is positively charged, and this alpha particle is positively charged. We know the property of charges. It means when these positively alpha particle collide with the positively charged proton, then it will bounce back or deflected to higher angles. Whereas if this positively charged passes near the electron, then it will not collide, it will not bounce back or deflected to higher angles. Let us see how Rutherford is able to give or to design his atomic model based on the alpha particle scattering experiment. In order to explain it, he takes a source of alpha particle. This one is the source of alpha particle. The next we have collimator. It means to convert the alpha particle into beam. Then it is allowed to fall on the gold foil. This one is the gold foil. Fall on the gold foil. This one is of the size of 100 nanometer. Why we take gold foil? Because we know gold is more and more malleable. When it is more malleable, it can be beaten down into approximately of atomic dimension. Why to do so? Because let us see here. If this one is the first layer of atom in gold, then it is not definite that the second layer is identical to that of first layer. It will be like this. It means this one is the first layer, this one is the second layer, third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer, sixth layer. When alpha particle strikes here, then in that case, if the second layer is not identical to that of first layer, then in that case, we will not get the desired result of the atomic model. It means if the atom of the back layer is somewhat upper or lower in comparison to the atom of the first layer, then they are not identical, and if they are not identical, in that case, what we see here, if this one is the atom of the first layer, and if this one is the atom of the second layer, its nucleus is here, its nucleus is here. When alpha particle strikes here, it will be bounced back. If alpha particle strike here, then it will be bounced back. Then in that conditions, he is not able to deduce the atomic model. Then what he do? He take the thin gold foil of 100 nanometer. What is the motto of having the gold foil of 100 nanometer? That it should have only and only one layer of atom. Why? If there is one layer of atom, then in that case, he is able to observe the atomic model.